Hey y'all, welcome back to Lives. I think it's time we play a little 7 Days to Die. Oh man, my cold is in full swing today. I thought I'd go ahead and do a little mid-afternoon recording today. Take a break from work, and supposed to play some D&D tonight. I'm not the DM, so um, I'm hoping that if I do this now, then my throat will have time to rest before tonight. I'm kind of featured in part of tonight's story, so uh, yeah. Yep, we haven't played D&D in since almost 2 weeks ago, I think at this point. Uh, yeah, be 2 weeks. 2 weeks tomorrow. Which is a shame because I play in 3 different games and they all get oh, you know what? Actually, I will play tonight. Um, so almost 2 weeks. Uh, this tonight's only happens once every other week, so but my Wednesday one got canceled. My Sunday one got canceled apparently. I mean, nobody showed up, so gotta assume that's a cancellation. They didn't say anything; they just didn't show up. Um, Actually, you know what they did was they. I like this. So I didn't really plan on playing D&D yesterday, anyways. I got a new board game called The Thing. I wanted to play that and try it out, and so I had been. I gotta be careful digging my way down in here that I don't trap myself. Uh, I don't know how many supplies I've got here. Um, for doing things like placing ladders. Which side is the correct side as well? Okay, I would say this is the correct side. So, yep, nope, I'm on the right side. Um, yeah, so we didn't we get to play, and well, I came downstairs, which is where I spend most of my time anyways, and I didn't figure we were probably gonna play. Possibly, uh, we're um, they get a little. They were busy. They got a little busy with nobody can find the paperwork they need, so they spent most of yesterday looking for paperwork. And so I thought maybe if they found their paperwork, we might play. And so it gets to be about six, 6ish in the afternoon, and we haven't started yet. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go see what's going on for dinner. Now I haven't talked to them since like 2 in the afternoon, and so I have no idea what's going on. And so I get upstairs, and there they all are, dressed up and headed out the door. And one of them waves at me, and by dressed up and head out the door, I mean all of them. The other 6 people that live in this house are all headed out the door, and no one has told me anything. And so they one of them waves, and I'm like, "Where y'all going?" And they're like, "Oh, we told you." Uh, I'm like, "Told me what?" That your your sister-in-law's putting on a Christmas concert. Your nephew and nieces are in it. Your cousin is playing for it. That thing. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. That's the first time I've heard anything about it. Um, uh, did I know my sister-in-law worked with a choir? Yes. My sister normally plays for it, so yeah, sure. I knew a choir existed. I did not know my nieces and nephew were part of it. The older ones. I did not know that my cousin was going to be playing instead of my sister. That was all brand new news to me. And I also didn't know that the concert was last night. Not that I would have gone. I don't go to that kind of stuff. I really don't care for live music, and I don't like crowds of people. So yeah, not my kind of thing. And so uh, yeah, I was pretty surprised. They didn't say, and once again, this just if it's something you regularly do and you're not going to show up for it, it would be nice if you let the other person who's involved know you're not going to do it. That way they can make other plans. I know this is like my biggest pet peeve I harp on like every time I talk, but I find it extremely rude. And I could have curled up in bed with a book instead of waiting for them to uh, come play a game. I could have I downloaded The Evil Within. I've been wanting to play that again, and I just bought the second one, and I didn't finish the first one, so I want to go back and play the first one again, try and finish it. And before I play the second one, it was on super sale, so I had to get it. And so I got that downloaded Saturday night, and all ready to play. And I was gonna play it Sunday, but then I'm like, well, I don't want to get in the middle of something and then have to quit. So I haven't started it yet because by the time they all left, I wasn't in the mood anymore. And I could have spent all my Sunday afternoon playing that game, but no, they just never show up. Because I hate to stop in the middle of something. I don't want to pause in the middle of my show. I don't want to stop in the middle of a section of a game. And I don't know. It's just there is no ores. I don't. What happened to all the mining ores, man? I need some. I get lots of iron, but iron isn't what I need. Tin is what I need. Is those rocks up on the surface I bet have or not tin. I don't need tin. Tin is not a thing. I need lead. Let me go up on the surface and see. I found one little batch of iron down here, and that was it. Maybe I went down too far. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't spawn under towns or something. I don't know. Oh, that was a great jump there, dude. Uh, but yeah, tonight we got D&D. I I can't do it. Wow. I know pretty excited about my part in tonight's episode, and the we ended last session with we split the party. Uh, I split the party. on purpose because I didn't want to be there for some of what they were doing. And um, I had some other things I wanted my character to do, and so I talked ahead of time with my DM. I'm like, dude, look, we get to this town, I'm heading someplace else. And he's like, all right. And I'm like, and this is what I'm doing. He's like, okay. And I'm like, I'm sure they're going to want to do their stuff in town. I don't really have anything to do in town. The thing I want to do is close to town. It's an RP thing. It's got nothing to do with anything major. So it's not a big deal. I just want to go. My character started the game with, I asked my DM when we started if I could give up. He let us get a significant portion of starter gold. And, yeah, this does not give me lead either. Huh. Well, I haven't been collecting the lead, so I guess maybe I can head into town and pick up lead? I don't know. I used to just go mine it. There used to be tons of it everywhere. All it drops is iron, right? I do need lead. I'm not confused here. No, I need bullet tips. Bullet tip. Yep, lead. Hey, I'm trying to look to see how to make bullets. Um, so I I asked him if it would be okay if that's brass. I guess I might as well take the brass too while I'm at it, right? I asked him if it'd be okay if, because I had played an earlier version of D&D where you couldn't hit magical creatures with non-magical weapons, and so I didn't want to go into this game, my first game of 5e, without some kind of weapon that would allow me to attack, because there's nothing more boring than being a fighter in a battle where you can't actually hit anything. And so I'm like, hey, dude, is it okay if instead of taking the extra money, I say, because it's 100 silver in the rule book to put silver on a weapon, which used to be to hit magical creatures. And so he was fine with that. Now, did I ever need the silver on my weapon? No. Did not ever at any point need a silvered weapon so far. And so I had written it in my backstory, since he said I could do it, as my grandfather's sword, and so I wanted to return it to my family homestead while we were in the town near my family's farm, and so that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to go. I wanted to drop it off. I really don't like the way the other characters interact with NPCs. Not that they do anything horrible, it's just they are intentionally goofy. And so, after putting all this work into a family farm, I didn't want to have to deal with them being goofy and having to, role play what my character was going to do in response to the horrible things they did or said to my family. Because there's no way they weren't going to do and say horrible things to my family. It just wasn't going to happen. And they once knocked an old woman down whose daughter was missing because they thought she was responsible. And so she tried to close her door, and they smashed the door open in her face with a strength check. And so they rolled way higher than she did, so she got slammed on the ground, and they stole their cane because they thought her cane might have been used as the killing weapon to get rid of her daughter, who lived in a different town and was on her way to visit this woman and never arrived, as we established by talking to other people. And so it's just stuff like that that they think is funny. Uh, and I don't enjoy that. And I saw you just magically appear. And so I try to avoid that. I try to avoid that. And so I thought, hey, while they're busy with their house stuff, I can just say that my character went and took his family back uh, the sword and just go on about the day. And my DM also plays a character in our game, and he said he didn't want to be there for the town stuff either because it's not his kind of thing either, apparently. And so here's some lead, finally. I wish I'd have known lead was this important. I would have been collecting this whole time, but in my mind I was just like, oh yeah, I can just mine up tons of it. And so we went to the farm, and so during the night my younger sister has been kidnapped by something, and I am currently out of my armor, on foot, running into the woods to try and rescue her. Along with the help of the DM's character, which is a druid, who I told to take flight and keep and shapeshift into owls and stuff. So is now flying overhead, trying to keep an eye on what's going on. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. We went up a level. So I do have a new ability that I had picked before. We went up a level before this happened, but I don't know if my DM realizes that it's really going to be helpful in this instance, provided I can get close to said thing. But I just took the... I play champion fighter, and so that's just a basic guy with a sword. That's pretty much sums up that class. Guy with a sword. And nothing super special pretty much about the class. It's just a guy with a sword. But it's a lot of fun. And you get to do fun things with said sword. Like multiple attacks and take extra turns and stuff like that. That's the features because you're so athletic, I guess. And so I try to stick with stuff that enhances my well, I try to stick with stuff that fits in with the character. I'm not so much I mean I played a lot of MMOs over the years, and I can be a bit of a min-maxer when it comes to stuff like that, where you're past the RP end of things, and you're just trying to get the most out of your character. But I actually often wind up just taking what I think fits my character, even in those instances. Uh, and think I'll take that in case I can match that with the one I've got. And so, I'm always on the front line, and I'm always toe-to-toe with the bad guys, so I was looking through. We had a level where you get to take either a skill increase or a feat, and a feat is a new ability. And so I'm like, well, you know what? My skills are pretty good at the moment, so I'm gonna go with a feat. Oh, what the heck? Why are there bad guys up here? This is my home. This is not my home. Ooh. Somebody forgot to lock their place as home. This is my home. You stay out, zombie. See, there's another one wandering around out here. I should get some lights on this place. Hey, did my mushrooms grow? Oh, they did. Look, they grew. They're really slow to grow, man. I'm surprised at how slow those things grow. So I took the Sentinel feat. I wasn't gonna take it because one of the wizard in our group, who's one of the ones who does all the goofy things, he's a super min-maxer, and he does things like he doesn't want to be a normal wizard, right? And so he has chosen the things that he can most annoy people with. That, his words, not mine. And so he has made a divination wizard, which allows you to choose what you make 2 rolls at the start of every game day, and then sometime during that day you can force the roll that someone takes to instead be what you rolled instead of what they rolled. And now he hasn't used it too often against the rest of us, but he chose it to annoy the DM, and he told me so. He chose it to annoy the DM. And that's the way he thinks. And so all his abilities are like non-helpful, it feels like, most of the time. And you know, and the rest of us are wailing away at things trying to defeat the enemy, and here he is playing around with making the floor slippery, which doesn't work well, as we have learned. And what does it take? Cloth, right? I gotta have cloth. I'm gonna make some torches here. And so he just told me like last week that he feels he doesn't use grease enough, which makes the floor slippery, and that he wants to start using that more. I'm just like shaking my head at that thought. Like, why that instead of something that affects the enemy? Why pick that thing as the thing your guy's gonna do when you could be helping us out? And but no, he because if it affected like a huge area, oops, I did that one too fast. It might be a little different, but it doesn't affect a huge area, and so it's like one little patch. But by the time you can cast it, unless you're like setting up an ambush, they're already in place, and all it does is makes you fall down or walk slowly. And so, you know, you could could throw a hugely damaging spell to... I'm going to have to move these yucca fruits, man. You can't walk through those. Could be throwing that hugely damaging spell, right? Or could make the floor slippery. And so he's a big proponent that I take this Sentinel feat, so I've been ignoring it because it didn't seem to be that useful to my character, and I'll explain why. I'm a fighter. I fight. And so I didn't really take that close a look at it until recently, because you only get to take a feat every 4 levels or so, and so there were other things I had to have that were way more important to me than this Sentinel feat. And I think we just hit level 8, so this is actually my third, because fighters get extra feats, and so my first one at 4, I took skill increase to get my attack maxed out, and so I was at 18 strength, and you can go a maximum of 20 without magic items or potions, stuff like that. And so I bumped myself up to 20 at level 4. At level 6, I took Great Weapon Master. Man, this is so much better with light. Ooh, put my torch right there. How many more of these am I making? I think I'll put one in the middle here. Okay. Maybe one more down here. Oh, I still got one more. One there. There we go. And so the wizard, he's just like, "Oh, dude, you gotta take it. It allows you to reduce the bad guy's movement to 0." And I'm like, I don't get how that's that helpful. I mean, it's gonna be super helpful now that I'm in the middle of a chase, but we've never done a chase before, so it hasn't been a useful thing up to this point. Still not why I took it, because I didn't even know the chase was going to happen ahead of time. And so, as I'm always at the front of the fight, and didn't I pick up another wrench? Yeah, right there. As I'm always at the front of the fight, I want to take things that are going to help me in the fights. And so this Sentinel feat is right. It reduces their movement to 0. It reduces their movement to 0. It reduces their movement to 0. It reduces their... That's basically the wizard guy. Every time I talk about, I gotta figure out what feat I'm gonna take, it reduces their movement to 0. But I don't care if their movement is reduced to 0. How often do they run away? Never. And so when I got looking at it, it's actually pretty spiffy. It stops their disengage, which is an ability to leave without taking an attack. It stops their disengage from working. So if I have a reaction left, you only get 1 per turn. If I haven't used my reaction and they try to move, it don't matter what they do, pretty much, I can hit them. So that's pretty awesome. The bigger one for me, though, is that if they attack someone within 5 feet, while they're within 5 feet of me, who is not me, I can use my reaction to attack them. And that's the reason I took it. I can attack if they attack someone that's not me. So if they roll an attack action, a spell attack, a spell melee attack, whatever, I can attack them. And so that was my whole point in taking it. And then, bullet tips. Yeah, that's not as good a patch of bullets as I was hoping for. Man, I'm gonna have to work on this. But so yeah, I'm and then we get in this this thing. So all I gotta do now is get within 5 feet of this guy that's running, and provided I am within 5 feet, they will not be able to get away unless they teleport or something. We'll have to see how it goes, though. The DM did tell me that that part would not take place until later in the evening. So, I guess I'm going to have to sit through another round of town shenanigans. I really should have ordered these differently. Oh, yeah, bullet tips, right. I was like, ooh, look, lead, but no, those are bullet tips. Alright. I guess this is probably where I'm going to call it then. And, we can pick up next time. I don't know what we're going to do next time. I don't know when 17 is supposed to be out. I keep expecting 17 to be out when we get started, but it hasn't come out yet. There's a lot of nearby terrain that I haven't been to. I mean, look, I only went to this one little town to the south, so maybe I'll go south and then east there, and we'll see what goes that way. But, yep. So click like if you like, subscribe, share, and catch the next one. I will talk to you later.